It's Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5 on a Friends Friday. My friend in here, my good friend Johnny Pickard, making his way in here. Good morning, Mr. Pickard. How are you?
Good.
You like how I called you Mr.?
You could drop that.
Now, we've been friends for a couple of years, I would say.
Well, I can't remember when I didn't know you, so
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Our dads knew each other
Yeah.
before we were even around.
yes.
Yeah. So that's a couple of years.
Yeah, back in the 50s, and my dad went to high school with your mother, so
That's exactly right. They graduated in the same class. What year was it, like 54 Centennial or something?
No, 51.
51? Oh, my mom's going to be mad when I say 51 from Centennial. So, yeah, we got a lot of heritage, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And the connection we kind of have, too, is we've been both into cars our whole lives.
Yes, hot rods, race cars. Yeah.
Yeah, all of it. I remember you telling me one time when other kids were buying this and that, you were buying, you get your Christmas money and you would buy an electric drill or something like that.
Well, me and my brothers would always chip in, so it was we would always pull our money together and buy something big.
So that you could have
yeah.
some nice tools.
Yeah, grinder or a welder or,
Yeah.
whatever.
And so that started, how old do you think you were when all that stuff was going on?
Because
You're the youngest in the family, right? As far as the boys?
I got two older brothers, Walt and Mike, and I'm the youngest. So I don't know, 8 years old, we chipped in and bought a handsaw, a rip saw at Duckwall's. I think it was like $8. So
Duckwall's. You are old now that I think about it. Okay.
So we went to Duckwall's. I don't know why they were selling rip saws at Duckwall's, but we bought a rip saw. We went home and we were building a Pinewood derby car. And we had a bunch of the neighborhood kids, and they were over there visiting. And while we were sawing, I had my thumb across the line, and my brother cut all the way through the thumb, and the back of the thumb was the part that was hanging on. So yeah, so we started early.
Yeah, how old were you then? You think 8?
Yeah, I was
you're
8
8.
years old.
So you broke in at 8 years old.
Yeah, I lost my thumb, and the doctor sewed it back on, and it didn't work for quite a few years, and then over the years it started moving.
I've noticed you do the Fonzie thing, and that's where it stems from.
Yes,
right?
yes, my thumb don't move.
Johnny Pickard in here on a Friends Friday on KPHT 95.5, Pueblo's greatest hits, brought to you by Advantage Home Mortgage.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. It's Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5. On a Friends Friday, my friend in here today, Johnny Pickard, and we're thinking back about some of the old days. As we mentioned, we go way back, but you kind of started messing with tools and different things at 8 years old. And first car, what was your first car? Your first car like you drove on the street or whatever? Or you had a car before you turned 16, didn't you?
No, I had a race car before I was 16, but my first vehicle was a 59 Chevy Apache truck.
Oh, wish you had that now, huh?
Yeah, I wish I did.
Yeah. So you had a race car before you had a driver's license?
Yes.
Was that legal or no?
Yeah, if you signed a waiver, my dad, of course, he ran the racetrack.
Well, yeah, your dad owned or ran Beacon Hill Speedway, right?
Yeah, he ran Beacon Hill Speedway from 70 to 87. So he signed a waiver, and then we got a car from Larry Livers at Livers Salvage.
Right.
And he gave us a 66 Fairlane, and we stripped it out, and that was my first race car. So I remember the first race I ran, I ended up finishing second. And
you didn't even have a driver's license yet.
I was upset about it because I thought I was going to win. There was a couple laps left, and a guy passed me with 2 laps to go in my first race. And then afterwards, my dad came to talk to me, and then I was pissed off because I didn't win. And he's like, well, You've never even driven a car on the street, so what are you mad
about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are you mad about? So he kind of put it in perspective for me.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he never even sat in a streetcar. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
I didn't know that was legal. I guess obviously if he's like you say, if you sign a waiver.
Yeah, now they put 13-year-old kids in sprint cars. So
Yeah.
I mean anything goes now.
Speaking of Beacon Hill, I used to hear the story, and you can straighten this up if it's true or not true, that your dad used to pay the KDZA guys with watermelons instead of money. Was that true or no?
Well, back in them days, Cheatham and Chisholm out there in the Mesa,
Right.
they were like one of our sponsors at the racetrack. So they used to sponsor us with watermelons. So almost anybody in the summertime that would come out there, especially around 4th of July,
Get a watermelon.
would end up with a watermelon. So, yeah.
But I think KDZA used to do like play-by-play of the races back in those days or something. Or maybe they were just doing highlights or something.
Well, the first night that my dad ran Beacon Hill in 1970, he bought the racetrack from Don Pickard.
Uh-huh.
And Don Pickard's daughter was E.J. Pickard.
Movie star.
The movie star.
Mm-hmm.
So when my dad took the track over, she was just in Hello Dolly, I guess that would have been.
Okay.
And so that was with Barbara Streisand. So that was a big movie.
Big time, yeah.
So he talked Don Pickard if he could get his daughter to come out there. And we had KDZA night and all the DJs from KDZA and E.J. Pickard. So you got to see a movie star, a current movie star,
right.
Somebody that was young, and she was probably in her late 20s when that happened. So we had a crowd out there. I was like 8 years old back then. So there was, I don't know, probably 3,000 or 4,000 people, and the population of Pueblo wasn't
as big as it is now.
Yeah, as big as it is now. So it was like probably 3% of Pueblo was at Beacon Hill that night, and all the DJs. And we got pictures of that with Mike Solardino and all those kind of guys that were at the station at that time. Yeah, so
fun stuff.
And you got a watermelon
and E.J. Pickard, man. What more could you ask for? Yeah. Friends Friday here on KPHT 95.5. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard. It's all brought to you by Advantage Home Mortgage.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. It's Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5 on a Friends Friday. My good friend in here today, Johnny Pickard. We're talking about the old days. We're talking Beacon Hill. We're talking you were driving a race car before you had a street license, but then you still race cars today.
Yeah, me and my brother Mike, we're still racing. So.
But you guys build your own cars and do all that kind of stuff. It's not stock cars like the old days.
No. These cars are all chromoly chassis cars. They weigh about 1,700 pounds. The engine that we have in there right now, it's a aluminum Rodec engine, and it puts out about 840 horsepower.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 1,700 pounds.
So things are a little different than that Fairlane that you stripped down and did that stuff to.
Yeah, we came a long ways from the old Fairlane.
Was it more fun then, or is it more fun now?
It was more fun then. Now it's more business-like.
You got a lot of expense there now.
Yeah, there's a lot to risk. So, the more money you put into something, the fun starts to go away.
Right. Oh, yeah, like anything. But thinking back about those old days at Beacon Hill and that, how come your dad got out of it? What did he decide? What, just got tired of everything that was going on out there?
He had raced for, like 16 years, and then he had the racetrack for 17 years, so he had been around it, and once you start racing, it's like you don't have summers to yourself. I mean, it's an every week type of deal,
right?
So for almost 30 years, him and my mom didn't really take any kind of vacations and stuff. So they got out of it in 1987, and we've continued to race. Me and
And
my
you
brother.
you and your brother have no summers, is what you're saying there.
Yeah. I mean, our schedule isn't like it used to be. I mean, back in the day at Beacon Hill, you would start in May and you wouldn't end until October. So you'd probably run 23 races. So it's 23 weeks in a row. I mean, it was like we were
Half a year, yeah.
running a NASCAR schedule at a Beacon Hill pay scale. Yeah.
Yeah, a whole different thing. It still costs you, but you don't make as much money is what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Friends Friday on KPHT 95.5, Pueblo's Greatest Hits. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard. It's all brought to you by Advantage Home Mortgage.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. It's Pueblo's Greatest Hits, KPHT 95.5 on a Friends Friday. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard. We're talking old days of racing and cars and things like that. And I know one of your big influences, because I've known you obviously for a long time, Roger Nelson.
Yes.
Roger Nelson. Now, he used to own cars that your dad drove, right? And then you guys kind of stayed friends and different things through the years?
Well, I believe it was like the late 1950s, 58, 59. My dad started driving for Roger because he had the best cars at the old Pueblo Speedway.
Where the county market used to be down there.
Gibson's County Market,
Right.
Albertson's, yeah. So the track that was there, Roger had the nicest cars there. So, and my dad was doing a lot of the winning out there because of the way he was pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I was going to say he wasn't afraid to drive the car.
No, he was aggressive, but he didn't even know how to check the oil on the car. So Roger knew how to do all that stuff, and Roger had the car. So between the two of them, they made a good team.
Sure.
And they went on to win quite a few championships there. I think there was 2 or 3 there, and then they moved to Beacon Hill in 1962. The track at over there at the old Pueblo Speedway closed down, and then they went to Beacon Hill. They won championships there, and then they moved on and started racing in Denver at Inglewood Speedway and occasionally at Lakeside Speedway. So the old tracks that are.
But they raced together for years and years and years. Then.
For years, yeah, and then they raced into the 70s, and they started racing it more in Colorado Springs. Yeah.
Why did they choose Beacon Hill? What was so the noise and stuff was out of town, kind of, or what was the deal? Do you have any idea on that?
Well, actually, there was a beacon light up there in the 40s,
Right.
and there was one at Stem Beach. And I guess when the planes back in back in the day, back in the 40s, they could line up on those 2 points.
And know they could hit the airport or whatever.
Know they could hit the airport. So that was the reason it was Beacon Hill, because there was a beacon light there back in the 40s. And then I guess that property, which was owned by Don Pickard, that's where they decided to build the racetrack. And it was a go-kart track in the early 60s because go-kart racing was a big thing in the early 1960s.
Right, yeah.
So, and then they had a small track of a fifth of a mile that they ran the go-karts on, and that kind of faded out, and then they started running stock cars and modified type race cars out there.
So it was just kind of a fluke that they not really a fluke, but I mean it wasn't a person.
It came together. Just something that they the
moon and the stars and those beacon lights lined up, and there we go.
The beacon lights lined up.
So would the airport have been where it is? I guess it would have been out where it is now, not the one by the state fairgrounds, but
it would have been out east.
Yeah, so you get between those 2 lights, you knew you were going to be in the direction of the airport, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that was a higher point or something, and they used that.
That kind of makes sense, I guess. But, there you go. It's a Friends Friday. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard. It's all brought to you by Advantage Home Mortgage.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. It's Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5 on a Friends Friday. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard. We've been friends for many, many years. Our moms and dads were friends, and as you mentioned earlier, your dad and my mom went to high school together. Even that's how long we've kind of had a connection there.
Yeah,
and I went to high school with your brother Wally.
Yeah,
he's a year younger than me, I think. There,
you and my brother and my other brother. He graduated in '79. Mike.
So Walt went and got like a real job and got away from racing and stuff. But you and your other brother Mike stuck in it.
Yeah, he got smart.
Yeah, I was going to say he had some sense.
Yeah, he got smart, and he went into business, into houses and real estate and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And my brother Mike, he's a machinist, and a welder. So he's always kind of been, fooling with cars and race cars and designs and building. And we first started, it was just with a tubing bender and some pipe, and now it's like AutoCAD and
amazing.
Blueprints on race cars and stuff like that. So,
that's amazing. Yeah,
it's kind of went from a lower level up to
right. That's exciting though that you guys have stayed in it all this time here. That you you stayed focused on it. You didn't go do other stuff really.
No, we didn't do any other stuff.
Yeah. So you could kind of say you guys were kind of like say Peyton Manning that grew up the whole time their family knew nothing. I don't want to say know nothing, but focused on football.
Yeah.
You guys kind of focused on racing.
Yeah. The only thing that we were ever around was race cars. I mean, from when we were little, so there was always a race car in the picture, and so when we would go out for a ride or whatever, we'd usually go to guys' garages and see what they were working on and that kind of stuff. So a lot of the old racers that were like my dad's age or maybe even older, guys like Lou Wilshaw, guys like that, the Carl Pantaleo, those type of guys. Those were all like people that were, heavy into cars and stuff, and they were building race cars. So we'd always go over to their shops and check it out. So that was our only influence. Plus, television wasn't like it is now. So we weren't sitting around watching TV. We were in a garage or working on something, or at Roger Nelson's garage. Or
it was better than watching Lawrence Welk, so you went out and did something.
Yeah, it was like Motor Trend TV, and we were in it.
Yeah. They didn't have all those, like you say. They had 3 channels back then.
Yeah. So back in them days, you were more hands on. Even as a kid, you were,
right.
Back before they built the Pueblo Mall, there was a race at the state fairgrounds that they ran on the horse track, and there was a big deal. So there's going to be this big race at fairgrounds on the dirt. So right where the Pueblo Mall is, there was a place called Durawall. There was no mall there, and this big 2-story building, they used to make wire that would go in between cinder blocks.
Okay.
And the guys that worked there had a race car. So like a week before the race, these guys were putting an engine together. So I guess to get out of my mom's hair, my mom drove us over there, and the bridge that goes under the railroad tracks there at the mall,
right?
You'd have to stop and look both ways to see if the train was coming, and then go over the tracks. Well, then right where Hobby Lobby was where the building was. And we went over there, me and my brother, and we stayed there all day long cleaning parts and gasoline because we didn't use solvent.
There was no child labor laws. There was no solvent.
So we used gasoline and we were cleaning parts, and we stayed there. My mom came and picked us up. In the summertime, it gets dark at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Right.
So my mom showed up just about when it was dark, here's these two little boys that had been cleaning parts all day long and gasoline and helping these guys get ready to go race at the state fairgrounds. So,
well, there you go. So, yeah, it's definitely in your blood.
Yeah.
Whether it was the gasoline or the racing or whatever, it was in your blood there. On a Friends Friday, Johnny Pickard in here. Friends Friday on KPHT 95.5, Pueblo's greatest hits.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. It's Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5 on a Friends Friday. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard. We're talking about racing days. We're talking about things that have happened here. Now, I know, because you were doing the Richard Petty racing thing and all that for a while too, right, in later years here.
Yeah, in 1997 when they opened PPIR, we had the super modified that we still run. We were racing up there, and it just happened. I started talking all about timing. Started talking to a couple guys that were in town to promote the Richard Petty driving experience that was going to be at PPIR. So I told them if they needed anything that they could call me, and I'd give them a hand and stuff.
Sure.
And they kind of brushed me off and told me that they didn't need a hand, but I gave them my number anyway.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't 3 or 4 hours later. I got home and the phone was ringing. This is before I even had a cell phone. Phone was ringing at my mom and dad's house, and it was one of the guys that I had just talked to.
Right.
I guess they were on Academy Boulevard, and they had the Richard Petty, the 43 car, on an open trailer, and it somehow got unhooked, and it fell off the trailer, and it took off the front air dam, and I guess they didn't want to get in trouble from the
Richard Petty.
From Richard Petty, so they called me, and they brought the car down the next day, and me and my brother Mike and a guy named Jimmy Reeves from DNS.
I know Jimmy.
DNS Paint Center. We fixed the car in my dad's driveway. We had the 43 car at my dad's house, and we fixed the whole front end. And these guys were kind of in awe because I didn't call, like all my buddies or my neighbors.
Come look at the car.
Come and look at the car. So it was just the 3 of us, me and my brother Mike and Jimmy. And we fixed the front end. You couldn't even tell. We B-rolled another piece of aluminum and stuff. So after we got done with that project, those guys said, "Hey, would you like to come to work with us?" So for the next 13 years, I had a job as a driving instructor for Richard Petty.
So you would take the Richard Petty thing. You would take people and you take them for rides for one thing, but you were also like teaching drivers and stuff like that. Is that kind of how that worked, or what?
Well, they had ride drivers, and then they had instructors, and I did some instructing, but since I didn't do it like on a daily basis, the instructors were, you had to be really good about your timing and your numbers and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So since I was a race car driver, they put me in the ride car. So with that, I would just pull up. They'd put somebody in there, strap them in, and I'd take off and scare the hell out of them. Get as close to the wall as I could.
Yeah.
And, drive it in the corner, speed shift coming up out of pit lane and that kind of stuff. And I was just thinking about it. That's how I met. That's how I met my wife. Is her.
You forgot your wife's name for a minute?
No, I met my wife there. She came for a ride. So her mom and dad bought her a $99 ride ticket, and she ended up leaving with the husband.
And you were
yeah. So I basically,
I don't know if that was money well spent or not.
Yeah,
That's what's funny is your wife is really into racing and all that stuff too. Yeah.
So I don't know who the fool was, me or her.
But you had all kinds of people. I'm sure that. I'm sure you could scare them good. Taking them around there.
Yeah, and what was going on is I'd fly from Colorado Springs. I'd fly all over. I'd fly to Fontana, Los Angeles.
So you weren't just doing this at PPIR; you were doing it all over.
Once I started at PPIR, it kind of grew into a deal where they knew I wouldn't wreck their race cars, because all you need to do is wreck a race car and you lost the profits for that whole week.
Sure.
So yeah, you had to be where you wouldn't tear up their equipment, burn up the brakes or burn up clutches and
but still give people a good ride.
And back a car into the fence. And I was at St. Louis, and there was a Middle Eastern guy that they put in the car, and I don't think he understood what was really going on. And that track in St. Louis is like a paper clip the way it's shaped. So I went down the back straightaway and went through the gears, and we were probably going about 165 miles an hour. Well, I drove it into the corner because the corners are real tight.
Right.
That's what I meant by a paper clip. So I drove in the corner, and the rear end came around on me, and I was like, I got it. And then it whipped back the other way, and it's like, no, I don't have it. So then I got on the brakes, and I thought, well, we'll back it into the front and back it into the fence, and we'll bend the back of the car, bend the frame. Well, this Middle Eastern guy thought this was part of the ride. He thought,
man, I got my money's worth.
Yeah, he thought this was part of the ride. And once the car came to a stop, I got earpieces in, and they're yelling at me. Did you hit the wall? They were concerned about the car. They weren't really concerned about me. I could be replaced. And I was like, no, we're good. We just flat spotted the tires. And this guy that's sitting next to me, while I'm talking to somebody in the pit area, he's screaming how awesome it was in a Middle Eastern voice. I was like, you don't know how close you came to getting killed, you know? So, yeah.
He made a whole line for the next guys that wanted to come up.
Yes, he did. Yeah, when we let him out of the car. Yeah.
Johnny Pickard in here on a Friends Friday on KPHT 95.5, Pueblo's greatest hits.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5 on a Friends Friday. My friend in today, Johnny Pickard here, and we're talking racing, we're talking growing up in Pueblo and all that kind of stuff, but I know Pueblo, and then we talked about the Richard Petty thing where you kind of got out of Pueblo and was doing all this stuff, but you even went racing in England too, right?
Yeah.
What was that kind of a deal, or what was that all about?
Well, once I started with that Richard Petty thing, you meet people from all over the country because they had a lot of employees. They had a list of people that they could call on to drive and to help and whatever. And I met a guy out of Wisconsin, and he was telling me about this. It was called Briska F1, and I had never heard of it, but he was talking about how tough these guys had to be. We were having lunch. Actually, we were having lunch at the racetrack in Las Vegas in the lunchroom, and he was telling me all about it. And I said, well, I could do that. So he's like, well, maybe I could hook you up, because he was getting drivers from United States and bringing them to England.
So like exhibition drivers or something
Well, no, he was they wanted American drivers to go over there and race in this what they call the World Championship at Coventry Speedway. So anyway, we talked about it. He got my name and all that kind of stuff. So I was at Texas Roadhouse on Valentine's, and I had just got a cell phone. My phone rings, and it's this guy from Wisconsin. He says, it's on. I said, what's on? And he's like, I got you a ride in Coventry for the World's Championship. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Well, then I started studying up on what this really was, because I was saying, well, yeah, I'm tough enough to do anything. So anyway, I started studying up on it, and it's like, man, these guys, it looked like the old Pueblo Speedway. These like cars running over each other and all that.
But you didn't have to take your car there.
No. They had a car. They had a car there, and the cars were like a modified car, narrowed car, and they had a big block Chevy in them. And now all these cars in England have 454s in them, and it's like, well, no wonder there's no motors like that around here. They all went to
shipped
England.
Them all there.
Yeah, they shipped them all to England. So we went over there, and we were in the World's Championship thing, and the United States of America, and they announced my name and that kind of stuff. Well, they had a big American flag on top of the car, which I thought was super cool.
Sure,
it's
patriotic and everything.
It's a proud moment. Well, I didn't realize that was a target. So as this race progresses, we're doing all right, and it's on a dirt track, which is not really a clay-based, which that's what American dirt tracks are. This is more like a sandy type of dirt.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we're out there racing, and this guy hits me from behind because that's how they would pass. I mean, it was like it wasn't the bump and run. It was the destruction.
Knock you out and run.
Yeah, knock you out and run. Well, anyway, I was sliding in this mud based sand stuff they had. Well, I knew as heavy duty as these cars are built, I figured that I'd end up breaking some ribs. So I gritted my teeth as hard as I could because I figure, I'll probably have a rib going through my lung or something like that.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be pretty. Well, I bit down so hard that I broke 4 of my bottom teeth. So I got 4 gold caps from England at the World's Championship.
And were your ribs okay?
Yeah, I didn't break no
Didn't
ribs.
break the
I
ribs,
broke all
just
my
the teeth.
Yeah.
Oh boy! So
So at the time, Dr. Cover, when I came back, he said, "Do you want them in white? That way nobody could tell." And I thought, well, it was such a special occasion. I had them all done in gold, so there's 4 of my teeth in my mouth.
So you could remember.
Yeah, every time I brushed my teeth, I could remember the experience.
So much for those English gentlemen then.
Well, once they got out of the car, they were, but when they got in the car, they were not.
It was all business.
Yeah, it was all business. Yeah.
Johnny Pickard in here on a Friends Friday, brought to you by Advantage Home Mortgage. Faster, easier, cheaper.
Hello, this is Vern from Advantage Home Mortgage. On your next home loan, remember 3 words: faster, easier, cheaper. Cheaper. It's no secret. Brokers are better. We are on your team, and we negotiate with lenders to ensure you get the best rate and lowest closing costs possible on your specific home loan need. Give us a call, 719-546-3100, to get your approval started today.
Advantage Home Mortgage, regulated by the Division of Real Estate, MLS number 1614819. Pueblo's greatest hits, KPHT 95.5. My friend Johnny Pickard in here on a Friends Friday. We're talking about growing up around Pueblo and talking about racing because that's been in your blood since day one. And I know obviously your brothers and your dad and whatnot. And your dad went into the Hall of Fame, Colorado Hall of Fame, right?
In October of 18, he was inducted in Colorado Motorsports Hall of Fame.
That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was a big deal. And then when they called to tell me that he was inducted, he didn't even know that I had nominated him. I was the one. And they told me the date, and it was like October 5th, we'll have the ceremony.
Right.
And it's like, well, October 5th is his birthday. So on his 86th birthday.
You took him up to it was in Denver, right?
Yeah, I was in Denver, and he got inducted on his 86th birthday.
That's pretty odd. You couldn't have planned that.
No, I couldn't have planned it. So, it's all about that timing thing.
Yeah. So speaking of timing, I mean, timing is everything, especially when you're racing. I'm sure the right place, right time, as you mentioned through your career and whatnot, and of course, timing is everything on the track. I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think timing in life is everything.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Sometimes you miss things, or things happen with timing. So. Yeah, you just got to have the right timing.
Well, there you go. Any new guys on the race car circuit that you say, hey man, that guy? I mean, I'm talking like NASCAR and that, hey, that guy's great, or anybody that you look up to?
Well, yeah, Kyle Larson would be I'd say right now he's the top driver probably in the United States. I'd like to see him in an Indy car because I'm sure he could, if he was in the right car, he could win that. So the talent out there right now would be Kyle Larson.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, just as I mentioned, just about to wind things up, but anything else you want to talk about here? Anything else you want to do here?
No, it's all about cars.
It's all about. I knew that when you came in. I knew that.
Cars and engines, gasoline.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come in and wasting your Friday morning with me. I always appreciate that. And you're a bad influence on me because you usually bring me McDonald's and all that kind of stuff. So
well, the drive to tell you the truth, the drive-through was backed up at Midtown so bad, and you said be here at 9:00, and I know how you are with time. So
that's my pet peeve.
I was like, is it more important the clock or the egg McMuffin?
Feed that boy.
Yeah, to feed him. So, but I can always go back.
All right. Well, speaking of back, we're going to go back in time here. Johnny Pickard on a Friends Friday. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.